it's Hillary. I'm here in my studio in Los Angeles, and it is a little early. I haven't started my day yet, but I wanted to chat a little bit today on teacher training. Those that know me know I'm not big on selling myself or being out there and consistently bombarding. I'm not comfortable with that. It doesn't feel authentic to me. But I wanted to kind of touch base on this one aspect of teacher training that came up because I just started my summer class, and we've done, well, at this point we had done one lecture class, which we were starting the mat, and it's a lot. And I had a student that was asking, oh, before our next class, can you I want to make sure that I've got everything, and can you give me this, and it was like way past our thought process where we are right now, because we're just kind of learning the mat, and that's just the first. So I was like, okay, we have plenty of time for that. There's no way you can have that in your brain right now. We're just, and it took some of it. She was like, oh, okay, great. Took some of the stress off. So with teacher training, you're learning so much, right? If you're doing the fully comprehensive, which I do, you're learning the mat, the reformer, the Cadillac, the ladder barrels, the small barrels, the Wenda chair, the high back chair. My students learn the pedal pull and the foot corrector and the circle as Joseph intended for it to be used, and it's a lot. Then we have some of the small props like the airplane board, and I'm trying to think, the neck stretcher and armchair and push-up devices. So there's a lot going on, and it's really easy, and this can also be applied to your teaching even after you've been out a while. There's a lot of times where our brain feels really busy, like just busy, so much going on, and what we need to do is try to make it more still. And what I mean by that is to try to just not have everything in the brain in that moment. And this applies for when you're teaching in terms of, I need this client to do this, and they're not doing this, and how do I get this, and I need this, and blah, 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 and this is where it should be. Instead of just kind of being there, focusing on maybe one thing, or thinking about, like when you get anxious, if you're prone to anxiety, and I am, you can just start spiraling. And I think that happens in teacher training, is like it's so much and you're learning so much and it's so overwhelming. It's like you just start spiraling out of control. Oh, that looked good. Spiraling out of control. But kind of grounding yourself and thinking, what's one thing in this moment right now? And so I tell people when they're practicing, maybe we have like different little thoughts each time we kind of practice and go through things, or instead of like every single thing in that moment. And one thing that my mentor, the person John Gossett, who taught me how to teach and was amazing, he said there was a girl in our class I'll never forget. She was very young, and she had never been injured. She had kind of this attitude of that now she went through the training, so she knew everything. So, she was good to go. Everything was good. She knew everything and never been injured, and she was young and blah, blah, blah. And I remember, and I tell my students this, because there's a lot of social media now, which wasn't, thank God, when I was going through training. So I didn't have that aspect on top, which people today do. But he said, imagine you're on a ship and you see an iceberg. Everything that you see above that water, you have learned. You know that iceberg. Now you're going out into the world, and you're going to discover all that's underneath that water, all that iceberg that's going down, which is a lot more. It's a lot more, right? And it doesn't mean you're learning new exercises or choreography, because you learned them, right? You know them. But it's that teaching of the body. It's guiding that person in front of you, learning how and why in that moment with that person, which is so cool. So kind of thinking about, okay, I'm in this teacher training, which is like this little bubble of safety, right? We want to be in a teacher training program that's supportive and makes us feel good and makes us feel confident. At least that's what I want to give. And shares that passion that that student or you leave teacher training feeling like excited and wanting to know more and wanting to explore and wanting to dig deep and wanting to continue this journey with your client for years and years and years. So giving yourself the moment, and take this into your teaching, of realizing, okay, I can't control everything. I can't know everything in this moment right now. And this person I'm teaching or this that I'm learning, I'm just gonna keep it still, meaning not so busy in my brain, but just going with it and enjoying it and being in that moment, which we kind of should be in life, right? So if you're going through teacher training, remember that in those moments where you start to panic, and it could be right before your test, which I see the panic there, but you know it, you've got it. I've chatted about this before, but also in your teaching, when that client walks in and it's a whole lot, just take a breath, ground yourself, and go, okay, what's one thing I can do with this today, or help with this, or guide in this way? So if you have any questions, if you're thinking about teacher training, feel free to DM me, and I'm happy to chat with you, even if you don't come into my program, just to kind of help maybe figure out what you're looking for, because everyone's different, and you want to find that spot where not only will you go through your teacher training, but you'll come back and touch base with, like I did with my mentor. So you're always wanting to go back and have that support and have that guidance, and it's something that will carry you through your career. So it's important, yeah? So anyway, have a good one and enjoy